When I say the word psychopath, what do you see? You see Hannibal Lecter. You see Ted Bundy. You see a man in a mask holding a knife in a dark alley. This is the comforting lie that society tells you. We want to believe that monsters look like monsters. We want to believe they live on the fringes of society, in prisons or asylum wards. But the most dangerous psychopaths are not in prison. They're in the penthouse. In the general population, about 1% of people meet the clinical criteria for psychopathy. But when you look at senior management, CEOs, lawyers, surgeons, and media moguls, that number jumps to 4%. That is a 400% increase. These are the successful psychopaths. They are not chaotic, they are calculated. They do not kill with knives, they kill with layoffs, fraud, and psychological torture. And the terrifying truth is, the modern corporate system was designed for them. It rewards ruthlessness, it rewards risk, it rewards the ability to fire 1,000 people without losing a wink of sleep. In this video, we will use the Hare Psychopathy checklist to decode the mind of the corporate predator. We will show you why they rise so fast, how they manipulate the empaths around them, and how to spot them before they destroy your career. Welcome to Umbra Decode. It is time to hunt the hunter. Psychopathy is not a mood. It is not a choice. It is a biological wiring. Neuroscience tells us that the brain of a psychopath is fundamentally different from yours. The primary difference lies in the amygdala, the part of the brain that processes fear and emotion. In a normal human, if you see a crying child or a horrific accident, your amygdala lights up. You feel distress. You feel empathy. In a psychopath, the amygdala is silent. They literally do not feel fear. Imagine what you could achieve if you had zero anxiety. You could lie to a CEO's face without sweating. You could bet the company's entire pension fund on a risky stock without your hands shaking. You could fire a single mother 3 days before Christmas and feel nothing. In the wild, this is an evolutionary advantage. It makes them the perfect hunter. In the corporate world, it makes them the perfect executive. While you are paralyzed by your conscience, they are moving pieces on the board. They view people not as sentient beings, but as objects. To them, you are a toaster. If you work, they keep you. If you break, they throw you away. There is no emotion attached to a toaster. If they are so cold, why do we like them? Because they are masters of the mask of sanity. Psychopaths are excellent actors. Because they don't feel real emotions, they have spent their whole lives studying yours. They know exactly when to smile. They know exactly when to maintain eye contact. They know exactly what you want to hear. Dr. Paul Babiak, an industrial organizational psychologist, describes their entry into a company in 3 phases. Phase 1, assessment. When a psychopath joins a company, they don't do work. They study the hierarchy. Who has the power? Who is the gatekeeper? And who is the useful idiot? They are looking for a patron, someone high up who can protect them. And they are looking for pawns, people who will do the work for them. This leads to phase 2, manipulation. They use glib charm. They are articulate, funny, and confident. In an interview, they don't answer questions. They tell stories. They claim credit for projects they barely touched. Because they have no shame, their lies are limitless. Most normal people lie a little bit. We exaggerate. The psychopath creates a whole new reality. And because they believe their own con, you believe it too. Once they are established, they begin phase 3, ascension. Here is a counterintuitive truth. Psychopaths love chaos. Most employees want a stable, calm workplace. The psychopath gets bored easily, due to low arousal theory. They need stimulation, so they create drama. They use divide and conquer tactics. They tell Bob that Susan hates him. They tell Susan that Bob is trying to get her fired. While Bob and Susan are fighting, the psychopath steps in as the savior to solve the problem they created. They purposely break communication channels so that they are the only source of information. This is the parasitic lifestyle. They attach themselves to high performers, the pawns. They drain the pawn of their ideas, their work ethic, and their reputation. Then, when the pawn is empty or tries to speak up, the psychopath discards them. They will often steal the credit for a major success and blame the pawn for a major failure. And because they have spent months grooming the patron, the boss believes the psychopath, not the victim.
How do you spot them? Listen to how they speak. Researchers have identified a linguistic pattern called semantic aphasia. They know the dictionary definition of emotional words, but not the emotional weight. They might say, "I love this company. It's my family." But 5 minutes later, they are laughing about liquidating a department. The words and the actions do not match.
Watch their hands. Psychopaths use more hand gestures than non-psychopaths. They use these gestures to distract you and control the narrative flow. Also listen for past tense and cause and effect errors. When asked about a mistake, they frame it as something that happened to them, not something they did. Mistakes were made. The market turned against us. They never say, "I was wrong." To a psychopath, admitting fault is a death sentence. If you realize you are working for or with a corporate psychopath, you are in danger. Your career, your mental health, and your reputation are at risk. You cannot fix them. You cannot love them into being a good person. They are biological machines. Here is your defense protocol. Rule 1. Everything in writing. Psychopaths rely on gaslighting. I never said that. Do not have hallway conversations. Do not take verbal orders. Send an email immediately after every interaction. Just to recap our discussion, you asked me to do X by Y date. This is your armor. When they try to throw you under the bus, you have the receipts. Rule 2. Be boring. We discussed the gray rock method in video 9. It applies here too. Do not give them emotional data. Do not tell them about your sick mother or your financial struggles. They will store that information and use it as leverage later. Be professional, polite, and utterly uninteresting. If you are not a fun toy, they will move on to someone else. Rule 3. Get out. You cannot win a political war against a psychopath. They are willing to go lower than you. They are willing to lie, cheat, and destroy in ways your conscience will not allow. In a fight between a wolf and a dog, the wolf wins because the wolf has no rules. The only winning move is to leave the game. The corporate world is a jungle, and in every jungle there are predators. They wear tailored suits, they have firm handshakes, they have bright smiles, but look at their eyes. If there is nothing behind them, run. To survive the modern world, you must see the monsters hiding in plain sight. Subscribe to Umbra Decode. We'd turn on the lights.